Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. The March session of Parliament rounded up in Yaoundé this week, a session that saw the election of the new bureau at the lower and upper house of Parliament, as well as in the National Assembly. 6 bills were adopted before the closing date. And in this edition of 360 Degrees, we shall review the activities of the March session, as well as zoom in on the MPs as the people's representatives. And of course, what role does the Parliament has to play as far as the upcoming presidential election is concerned? These are the issues we shall be discussing for the next 1 hour. Good afternoon once again and thanks for joining us. We are beaming live from Yaoundé, and to discuss this very important topic we have some gentlemen in the studio. We are expecting 5 gentlemen. 4 are already here and we shall be welcoming them before we get into the crux of the matter. Without any order, I will start from my left, where I have Mr. Bo Evis. Bo Evis is a senior colleague, he's a senior journalist. He is one of those who follow the parliamentary affairs on daily basis. Evis, this is your first time on 360 Degrees. I'm honored.
Thank you. I'm honored, Hi Senchia, that you invited me to this program. Good afternoon to all the viewers of Canal International. And I want to say that it's a blessing for us to be in your beautiful studio here in Yaoundé to participate in this program and discuss topics of capital importance to the Republic, especially activities in Parliament. I'm very happy too that I've been able to meet my brothers, whom we meet most of the time in other activities, and together we are going to share our perspective.
Of course, we are going to share our perspectives. By you, I have Mr. Prince Epie. He is the spokesperson of the Popular Action Party. We had a program with him some 3 weeks ago. That did not really hold, but fortunately today we are live on set. Mr. Epie, you're welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Chair. Good afternoon to the wonderful panelists. Good afternoon to the millions of televiewers of Canal International. It's always it's a pleasure being in a wonderful studio here in Yaoundé. As you rightly said, it's the first time being in your platform. 3 weeks ago I was here, but because of some technical issues, we could not do the program. So it will be a very good one to discuss the perspectives of these topical issues this afternoon.
For sure. And by my right, I have Mr. Blake Sango Yakubu. He's been here several times. He's one of the elements that communicate for the ruling party, the CPDM. Mr. Yakubu, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hyson. Good afternoon to my co-panelists and good afternoon to all the viewers of 360 Degrees on Canal 2. It is a pleasure for me being here once again, and I would like directly to give give kudos to all our militants and sympathizers who came out in their numbers with a lot of effervescence, mobilization during the celebration of the on the 24th of March, we saw the effervescence throughout the national territory. And I would also like to congratulate all our comrades who were appointed recently by the president of our national president, Pobia, in the Central Committee and in other strategic positions in our political party. And that is the congrats I wanted to give to them.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, the fourth panelist today is also a senior colleague. He is the publisher of the Eagle's Eye. The Eagle's Eye is specialized on parliamentary affairs. Etienne Dange, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Same here. Thank you, Chair. Happy to be here in this your magnificent studio. And I want to say kudos to all my co-panelists and to say a very warm Saturday afternoon to all the millions of your viewers all over the national territory and beyond. Thank you for having me once more.
Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall have the summary of the March session of Parliament as it rounded up here on this week. In this report, Ate Bonaventure says the Speaker of the National Assembly at the closing ceremony calls for peace before, during, and after the 2025 presidential elections.
just ended March parliamentary session in the newly inaugurated Ecelection House was marked by the scrutiny and adoption of 7 bills, the election of the Bureau, and question and answer sessions with members of government. While chairing the closing ceremony, House Speaker Right Honorable Kavaye Yege Jibril called on Cameroonians to remain calm and law-abiding as they look forward to participating in the upcoming presidential election, and called on his peers to take home the message of peace and unity to their constituents. A ceremony to christen the new glass house of the National Assembly as the Paul Biya Glass House on April 25, 2025 has been announced, while a department in charge of maintaining the National Assembly complex has been created and placed under the authority of the Speaker's office. The National Assembly equally took the initiative through its members to recommend and draw attention of governments and the general public to some topical issues, including climate finance, on which a forum was organized at the behest of Honorable Jean-Jacques Zam, who is the coordinator of the Parliamentary Network for the Sustainable Management of Central African Forest Ecosystems.
This is 360 degrees, and that was the run-up of the March session of Parliament presented there by Arte Bonaventure. Wherever you are watching us, be it in Konene, be it in Saf, be it in Furawa, wherever, you have the opportunity to participate to our talking points of today through the numbers you have on your screen. As we come back here to begin the discussions proper, let me begin with the 2 reporters that we have. Etienne, you were there from day one, even some days before the parliamentary session. Aside the election of the new bureau, what are some of the major highlights of this session that has just rounded off?
Thank you very much. I want to say I've been covering, that is, I have dedicated my entire professional life to cover the activities of the National Assembly since the 30th of November 2020. Okay. And I want to tell you that this March session 2025 was one of the most intense, because aside from voting the Bureau, which is we can say the tradition of the House, aside from voting the Bureau, we had 7 bills deposited, scrutinized, then adopted. Okay. The Foreign Affairs adopted 6
of the bills.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, Foreign Affairs happen to be one of the, I don't know, it's just in Cameroon that I've noticed that it's one of the committee that is not even worth taking care of. Okay. Normally that it should, because that is the powerhouse of Cameroon diplomacy. Yes. You understand? So we had 6 bills scrutinized, adopted by the Foreign Affairs. Then we had 1 that was scrutinized and adopted by the Committee on Exchange, which is headed by Honorable Mbakam Guillaume Chouaga. You know, I want to say for 5 years, this has been the most consistent, the most robust March session. Okay. You understand? Because to adopt 5 bills, you know, sometimes when you talk about bills, people don't know exactly what adopting a bill is all about. Exactly. So the bill is proposed by the member government, which by the executive, traditionally. The executive bench. Yes, by the executive. And the role of the legislature is to scrutinize, to call the ministers that, the minister in charge to come and, you know, elaborate, because not all, to start with, the National Assembly has 9 committees. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. All the 9 committees has 20 members each. You understand? So when you, in that committee, you don't have, it's not necessarily lawyers. Not necessarily people who deal with law. There are farmers, there are other people that doesn't understand. Yeah. So when a bill is tabled, before the scrutiny now comes in when you, the minister, have to come and explain to them exactly what this word, you know, what word, what is it, to see the importance, if it's going to benefit Cameroonians. Okay. And so when they adopt in the committee before, it's taken to the House chamber for proper adoption for the executive to promulgate as law.
Okay.
Yeah.
Service?
Okay, yeah, to talk it.
I as a reporter from, was it March 10?
Yeah.
Till when the session rounded up?
Yeah, thank you, Hyacin Chia. From March till when the session rounded up, I was particularly happy with the opening speech of the eldest member of Cameroon's of the Paul Biya National Assembly. That's how they call it now,
It's
right?
not yet
It is
official.
still to be
The Paul
Christian
Biya
on the
Glass
25th.
House. From the 25th of April,
It's not yet official.
it will be baptized officially on the 25th of April, the Paul Biya Glass House.
Okay.
So I was privileged to listen to the opening speech of the eldest member of Parliament, Madame Laurentine, Honorable Laurentine Kwafege, whom I admire so much because she has quite a free spirit. She was able to express herself. What caught my attention was her call for peace and tranquility during the upcoming presidential election. She called on people from all walks of life involved in the organization of the election to make sure that they are focused on what they should do. He said those who can pray should pray well for the country. Let those who are organizing do their job well. Let those who are mobilizing mobilize well. And she also called on journalists to be responsible in the reporting, to make sure that they give the right information to Cameroonians about the election. That was a beautiful speech, calling for collaboration, calling on all Cameroonians to work as one to ensure that there is peace before, during, and after the presidential election. I was also very happy that she handed over constitutionally to Kabaye Yege Jibril, who had 125 votes after the elections. But also, too, there were some things too that she said in her speech we could have been wish are considered to be somehow questionable. She was talking about President Paul Biya being the person that brought democracy to Cameroon, and of course, it's debatable because based on what we have been observing of recent, it's put into question some of those, those assertions. And of course, the bills to authorize the President of the Republic to ratify the tax convention between Cameroon and China so as to eliminate double taxation. Bills between the Republic of Cameroon and the Czech Republic for the avoidance of double taxation. Bill to authorize President Paul Biya to ratify the amendment to Article 4 of the revised constitution of the African Civil Aviation, etc., etc. Those were beautiful bills. Because sometimes people feel that those are the National Assembly are only there to talk about politics. These are the real issues, bills. Because if you are not intelligent, you will not have anything to offer at the level of committees.
For sure.
So I think that that is why when we are selecting people to propose to the National Assembly, we need to select people who are intelligent and who are meticulous with the job they do. Because at the level of committees, when you want to ratify a bill dealing with taxation between two states, if you are not intelligent, you will not just go and vote. And that's why I think that the National Assembly should be a place where people vote based on their conscience, not just because they want to support a political party.
Okay. Mr. Pierre, you followed the opening statement of the eldest member of Parliament. You equally followed the statement of Kabaye Yege Jibril, who is the two, they have one common denominator, peace, before, during, and after elections. Your reaction to that?
But Cameroonians are always peace-loving. There's always peace before and after elections. Can you cite me one elections in this country which there have been chaos? There's no elections. Cameroonians have always respected the laws.
Maybe they are based on the different traits we have left and right.
The issue is they know the game they are. They know the game they are playing. Why they are saying that? Now I will beg to differ with the brilliant journalists on the platform. Mr. Ndage Etienne cannot make us to understand that this was the most intense. Those are the words that he used. Most consistent. The most consistent parliamentary session because of the
March session.
This March session.
I didn't say I said March.
Let's talk about the March session because
March session is concentrated only on voting of the bureau.
We quite remember.
2020.
Maybe because last year.
From 2020.
Please, I'm coming back to you.
Started covering.
Please.
Can you allow me to go to the end of my lordship?
Yakubu, maybe just to clarify that last year March session, we had almost 3 weeks that there was nothing going on at the National Assembly because the elections took as long as possible, and then nothing was done.
You understand where I'm going to?
Yes.
we cannot say most intense or most consistent because 6 bills.
Seven
bills
yes.
were being voted in Parliament. I'm not d'accord.
Okay.
Now, because the problem we have with the National Assembly is, or the question we can be asking is, all these bills, how are these bills affecting the lives of Cameroonians positively?
Okay.
Yes, those are the questions that we're asking. We're thinking that in a March session like this, of which is an election year, the National Assembly will come up with bills which will better the organization of the elections, like the opposition political parties, maybe which I represent in this platform, have been clamoring for a revision of the electoral code.
Okay. For
example, we have been talking of a single ballot system. I think that is one pointer for us to maintain peace and stability before and after elections. Okay. So that is the first thing that I gathered. I'm not saying that maybe the speeches, they were playing their role. The elder speaker, Madame Laurentine, was playing, Fege was playing her role. The Speaker of the National Assembly, Jibril, was also playing his role. He will not call Cameroonians to go on the streets maybe before or after election. But we are saying that the bills that were being passed, maybe or voted in the National Assembly, doesn't comply or doesn't go in line to see how they can better the lives of Cameroonians as of now. What we need, or what Cameroonians need as of now.
I like the word as of now.
As of now.
Not that the bills are completely useless.
What Cameroonians need, I will tell you the reason why maybe as we are going, going further in the program, why we think, because with the coalition that we are even coming from, that maybe I'm representing, also the platform in this platform here, that is the Coalition Union for Reconstruction, which our flag bearer is Lobatonia Keremuna. We are even thinking that after October, we shall demolish the Parliament for us to reconstruct, because there are many issues. So what we are trying to say is that we need reforms. We need reforms, and the Parliament should play their role. That body which controls government action, not maybe coming to vote bills that does not go in line with what are the expectations of Cameroon, especially as we are in an election year. So that is what I wanted to
Okay, thank you so much. Yakubu, the re-election of Degre Jibril and the other members of the Executive Bureau.
I think I will first of all start by congratulating them for that confidence and then for their re-election. Before coming back and answering to Mr. Epie, telling him that those parliamentarians are the ones representing the people. They were mandated by the people, and they are the ones who knows the will, what the people are asking them on the ground to do. Because the PAP has not been mandated by any Cameroonian, and then the PAP cannot know what Cameroonians are asking for. But those who are on the ground, those who were sent by
the reason why the PAP did not go for elections,
those who were mandated by Cameroonians, those who were mandated by Cameroonians to occupy certain positions in Parliament are the ones now applying the will of Cameroonians in that house, because Cameroonians today are clamoring for increment in the prices of basic necessities and etc. And those bilateral and multilateral cooperations that are being signed at the international level will come upon to better the lives of Cameroonians, apart from elections. And then when we are talking about the single ballot box, we had
single ballot paper.
For all the candidates. Single ballot paper. I think that that is not a problem, because we have had
Mr. Yakubu is a big problem.
I'll give you time to talk.
We have had opposition parties in Parliament with this same electoral code. We have had people who have even been claiming to have won the presidential election with this same electoral code, and then we cannot say today that the electoral code is bad. The electoral code has no problem, and Cameroonians are preparing. Us in the CPDM, for instance, at the time people are concentrated on the fact that this candidate or this member of the CPDM team should not play, we are concentrating and mobilizing our bases, preparing ahead of the presidential and other elections.
Okay, Etienne, in the past, we've always heard the Speaker, Cavalier, complaining that some MPs do not come for plenary sittings. Was the case different this time around?
Yeah, because you and I, you're a journalist and you've been there, you've been covering. You've noticed that this time around he didn't complain, which means the quorum was attained. You understand? So, you know, one thing what he's saying, we cannot totally discard it. Talking about electoral code and a single ballot. But I want you to know that MPs who are at the National Assembly, they scrutinize the bills that comes to them. There are opposition party. I remember last year we had a group of opposition MPs who drafted a law, who drafted a bill to table. The problem is, draft your bill. If you have a problem with the system, if you have something you need to propose as an MP, constitute yourself as a group. You draft the bill, table it. If it goes through, the National Assembly will vote. If they see the needs for Cameroonians, if they see the need of the bill to the lives of ordinary Cameroonians, they will vote.
Okay, I'm coming to you.
Okay.
Evis, this was the very first session at the new hemicycle. Was there anything different that maybe was not taking place up there? Did you, like a reporter, did you see any, was the atmosphere kind of different?
I think the new National Assembly building offered to Cameroon by China, even though I'm sorry to say that, even though I sometimes feel bad saying that, because after 60 years of independence...
Diplomatic victory.
Yes, after 60 years of independence, a country like Cameroon should at least be able to build its National Assembly. But if China offered it to us, okay, we have taken it and they want to name it the Paul Biya National Assembly. It has a good working space for all parliamentarians. You know, sometimes where you are, where you work.
Not for all parliamentarians.
But I'm saying it has a good working space for the staff, for those of the secretariat. It has a semicircle where people can really sit, debate well. Journalists have a wonderful place where they can sit and work, charge their laptops and so on and so forth. But the issue is not where you're working. The issue is what comes out
the content
from
of the
building.
Okay.
There is no need. We've heard the Senate also announcing that they want to construct their own building. The Economic and Social Council, that we have not heard in the news for so many years, or recently inaugurated their own building. The Senate wants to inaugurate their own building. We don't need all those buildings in Cameroon.
No,
even if we are sitting under trees.
What do we need?
Even if we are sitting, we need intellectual capacity to vote laws that can be helpful to the nation.
That is it.
There is no need having all big buildings in the world if the laws that come out of those buildings do not defend the interests of all Cameroonians. And that is why I say all the time that our parliamentarians, they are called députés de la nation, which means they are MPs representing the people. Wherever they are always supposed to put the people first. As my friend and brother Fabrice Lena always says all the time. They are always supposed to ensure that the will of the people is supreme. So the new National Assembly building, yes, I love it. It is beautiful. But what comes out of the new National Assembly building? Let me end here as chair by saying that Honorable Kavaye Jibril calling for peace to reign before, during and after the presidential election also entails calling on all those involved in the electoral process to play their role effectively. This means that you need to allow political parties organize their meetings. Because when opposition political parties organize their meetings, and you come and ban them from organizing their meetings, you are calling for two things at the same time. You are calling for peace before the election and provoking crisis before the election. So we should not say something and do the other.
Yes, I'm coming to you. You have been itching to react. Let me give you some few minutes to.
Yes. I understand Mr. Yakubu very well.
Yes.
I understand the game he's playing. Look at what he's telling Cameroonians, that they allow opposition political parties to organize meetings. On, I think that was on Thursday, that is the 10th of this month, April.
Yes.
You can imagine that at Makak, the DIO at Makak, the division officer at Makak, break into a private residence where people were celebrating the 77th anniversary of the Union de Population du Cameroon, of which my political party...
Please, yes. Let him land. I will give you time to talk.
When you were talking, I was not talking. I said a private residence, that's what I'm saying. I said a break into. I'm talking that the job market is getting what I'm saying. Break into a private residence with gendarmes and policemen. and gave orders that they should arrest Dr. Baligan and Lubatonia Keremuna. I'm talking, they're listening.
Okay.
But the police and the gendarmes refuse to execute the order. It is all over the place on social media.
Okay.
Many television stations have reported on that. So what we are saying is that we should not play with Cameroonians. As I said, Cameroonians are peace-loving. Cameroon is a very peaceful country. We, the youth, we are very responsible. But what we need now at the level of the parliament, or the type of parliament that we need a parliament where we shall have reforms, where they will touch on the electoral code, so that we should have a free, a fair election. I will end here by saying that when you take a militant, somebody who goes out as a militant in your party and appoint her as a member of the Constitutional Council to decide on elections.
That's dangerous.
Is that the peace? Is that the peace you are talking about, Mr. Yakubu? So what we are saying is that these reforms, everybody should play his role. The political party should be called on board for them to play their role, and everybody should play his role responsibly, not making the game to weigh on one side, so that we shall have that peace before and after election. I like the way you put it.
Okay, thank you so much. Gentlemen, we shall welcome Fabrice Lena, who just joined us. Fabrice Lena is a politician, of course, and he is one of the executive leaders of our future movement. Fabrice, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and I'm glad to join noble men on the panel and also to give my noble contribution to building Cameroon. Cameroon is all we got. Cameroon is all we have. We have to do everything to make sure that we redeem our country and take it from those who want to sink it. Okay.
You came while we are already on the March session of Parliament. Maybe in less than 2 minutes, your global reaction to the parliamentary activities this session.
Nothing special, nothing captivating, nothing to drive home about. We have a rubber stamp parliament, of course, obese, dominated by the CPDM political party, a party that have decided to destroy a country that God gave to us with all the resources that is in this country. A country where you cannot exercise your political rights if you do not belong to that party in power. When we look at how parliamentarians behave in the parliament, we understand that they talk everything except what is important. What is important for them to discuss in the parliament? Anglophone crisis, they don't discuss about it. They keep it under the table. The security crisis that is affecting youth in the urban cities, they are not talking about it. The rising price of goods and services, inflation in the country, they are not talking about it. The electoral code that Cameroonians are pressing, which is an urgent issue, they are not talking about it. So what should we really expect again from this kind of legislation? Of course, the few political figures in the parliament who are of the opposition, who try to even make some statements that are strong, are eclipsed by the obese majority CPDM, who go there to clap their hands, sign their monthly gratuities, salaries, and whatever benefits they derive from being members of parliament, and that's all about it. What do we really get from the National Assembly of this country? Nothing.
Okay, I shall be getting back to you. Maybe we shall retalk some of the issues you just put across. Yakubu, you heard in that report that the Speaker announced that the new National Assembly will be officially baptized Bia's Glass House on the, is it 26th or 25th?
25th.
Okay. Yeah. Is that necessary?
It is fundamental. It is very important because
it is not fundamental.
Let him land, Mr. FPA, please.
The President of the Republic, the President of the Republic, in terms of diplomatic vision, is the one who went, because they will tell us that no, it is because a collaboration. Is it in all the countries of Africa where is it all the countries that benefited from such cooperation with China? No, it means that is a diplomatic victory, and the diplomatic victory, when people are abroad, they snap themselves in Canada beside skyscrapers and then in Dubai and all the light in order to show the infrastructural beauty and all the light. But today, when it is here in Cameroon, had it been because Mr. Mbo is asking about, is talking about organizing parliamentary session even under trees, had it been that it were
is that what he said? I think
that is what he said.
Yes, I said if what comes out of there is good. I prefer parliamentary session
had it been that
if the
had it been that ultra-modern structure was not bad, we would have been saying that in Cote d'Ivoire we have this, meanwhile in Cameroon we are so backward. Now that the infrastructure is there, people are finding all ways in order
to... You should be ashamed to say that the infrastructure of Cameroon is built by China and then say it's a gift from China.
It is not a gift. It is a diplomatic
Fabrice, please.
It is a diplomatic victory.
Define diplomatic victory.
Fabrice, please.
It means that the bilateral and the multilateral cooperation that Pobia is putting in place for our country, we are really winning. And that is an example of a real win-win cooperation.
Okay, now...
In diplomacy, just 30 seconds. No, Yakubu, we are here to educate Cameroon.
That is an example of a win-win cooperation we are talking about and we are clamoring for in this country.
And it is necessary to baptize it as Pobia's glass house?
The representative of Cameroonians, those who were elected, because the PAP, for instance, and then Mr. Lena, for instance, yesterday he was with the PAP. Today,
no, that is not the debate.
That is not a debate.
Yes.
But Cameroonians elected people to represent them somewhere. And those people who are carrying who are carrying Cameroonian voices sat and decided that, okay, we are in a democracy. That is the majority deciding we should baptize this. And then the law was voted legally, and there is nothing illegal in that. And we believe that if they are our representative and they decided that it should be baptized, Pobia, Glass House, that is something.
Okay, thank you so much. With the help of our producer, we shall move to our next subtopic: MPs as the people's representatives. Boyevis,
you do not want me to react on the baptizing of...
anyway, in the course of the program, you will still react to that. I want us to look at our MPs as the representatives of the people. What is your first view on that? Okay,
thank you, Chair Hyacinth. Our MPs as a representative of the people, I love especially the way they put it in French, l'élu de la nation. They are no longer, when you are elected an MP, you are no longer an MP only for your constituency. You become an MP for the entire nation, which means that you should not only visit your constituency. If you're an MP from the Northwest, from time to time, visit the North, visit the far North, visit the South. That gives you a global view of how the country is, so that when we are debating laws at the National Assembly, you will know how to debate the laws. And that is why in my past reports, at least I've been able to interview at least 10 members of parliament from the Northwest, and each time I meet them, I ask them, why as a member of parliament who was elected to represent the Northwest and the Southwest, you come and reside in Yaoundé, with many of you not even going back to your constituency. You know, that is an issue. What will you be discussing in Yaoundé if you have not gone back to your constituency to listen to your people, so as to come and put what the people want at the glass house? So it's very important that our members of parliament, as representative of the people, should put the party first. It's not all about party, it should put the people first, and the party should come second. It's not all about party discipline. There is no party discipline when it comes to poor roads. If there is a bill to vote good roads, and the bill is good, you vote it. You don't just vote good roads because you belong to a political party. So our parliamentarians should be given that freedom, that although they were elected on the ticket of a specific political party, they should be given the free will to think and vote on behalf of the people. That will make our parliament more beautiful. Because as it stands nowadays, although parliamentarians are the representatives of the people, sometimes the real issues that are supposed to be discussed about the people are not discussed during the session. They discuss it in beer parlors because they don't have the opportunity to raise that during the sessions. As my brother Fabrice Lena was saying, issues related to the Anglophone crisis and insecurity-related issues, they are not being discussed at the National Assembly. Does that mean that the MPs from the Northwest and Southwest don't want those issues discussed? No, because they are not being given the room to suggest that. So thank you. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Pierre. I want to believe that all of us here are, in one way or other, elites of our different communities. Are there any sort of consultations between the MPs and the people, maybe before parliamentary sessions?
Mr. Chair, when you are in a republic where there is no separation of power, it poses a problem. Let me give you a historical fact.
That's the main thing.
President Biya started working in this country in 1962. Till date, he has never been a parliamentarian. but they want to dedicate the House of Representatives. That is, they want to tell us that the House of Representatives of Cameroonians should be named after him.
Okay.
We of the PAP, we strongly oppose to that.
Okay.
We have other historic icons of this country who were parliamentarians, whom we think, even if they wanted to dedicate that house to somebody, it is not him.
Okay.
And it also poses a problem at the level of, as I said, separation of power, because we are, how can an executive carry the name of the legislature? How does it corroborate? How does it corroborate? It poses a problem at that level. And my young brother who is here, Mr. Yakubu, I'm a teacher of democracy. All what you are saying, you don't know anything about democracy. I'm sorry to say that. We cannot be. I'll tell you why. We're on the platform.
Do you know democracy is the dictator or dictator of the majority?
Please. There are many people who conceive democracy. Go and read about people like Abraham Lincoln, how he conceived democracy.
Yes, please.
The models that people are referring today in the world.
Try to learn, Mr.
So what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say is that we cannot be in a parliament where we have 90% of parliamentarians coming from one political party.
Elected.
Please,
I'll give you time.
Yakubu, let me talk to Cameroonians. And the others who are accompanying them in that parliament are satellite political parties who are supporting the regime. That is what is happening in parliament. And you will not come and tell us today that is the way you want Cameroonians to define democracy. Okay. I told you that in our program, which is being headed by Lubatoni and Keremuna, we are saying that after October, as we are entering a treaty, we will demolish the parliament. Because we need to give a parliament, we need to give Cameroon a house of representation where all Cameroonians are being represented and voted. Did the elections take place in the northwest and southwest during the parliamentary election in 2020? The answer is no. Go and look for the records.
Fabrice, yes. The way they are sounding, we have the impression that there are some Cameroonians that do not even know their MPs. Yeah. Do you share that?
Of course. Of course. The members of parliament of this country, first of all, access to them is a problem. And how many members of parliament have a cabinet open to members of public or their constituents, people of their constituency? You can barely count them. I mean, cabinet in that constituency.
Okay.
I don't know where the cabinets of the parliamentarian of Mezam South constituency covering Santa and part of Bamenankwe is located. Okay. You know, those are people who are all the time in Yaoundé. They should hear this, and they should know that the people of Santa and Mezam South are very disappointed because they are not representing any of them there. How many of those people are sitting and consulting, just like you mentioned, those who are stakeholders, major actors in their constituency? We're talking about traditional authorities, we're talking about religious authorities, we're talking about youth leaders, we're talking about academias in that constituency, saying, okay, can we think about the issues of this constituency so that as I'm going into the parliamentary session, I will raise them. There is also the issue of raising the main issues in the parliament, because our parliament doesn't even permit for the courageous parliamentarians to raise the real issues in the parliament. That's why I mentioned earlier that when you look at our parliament, they discuss everything except what is important to be discussed.
Okay.
We cannot be in the parliament where we have a looming crisis, a crisis that has killed so many people. I mean, the Anglophone crisis, the Southern Cameroon War of Independence, it has been there for more than 8 years. No serious debate has ever taken place in the parliament about this. We have inflation. Prices of basic commodities are at the sky. Nobody is talking about it. We have sanitary problems in major urban centers. The garbage is all over. Nobody is talking about it. We have the potholes. You cannot drive in this country freely. One of the things that is making us to always have issues of respecting time in appointments in this Yaoundé is the issue of bad roads, potholes, traffic. These are problems affecting Cameroonians every day.
Okay.
And one other major issue I ask myself is, after looking through the Cameroon parliamentary history, We can't have a democracy as far back as 1990, and the members of parliament constituted to be 180 30 years ago. And in 2025, we are still having 180 members. And the population of Cameroon has increased by a geometric rate. Yeah. We are now estimated to be between 28 to 30 million, because unfortunately, the irresponsible regime has been unable to conduct a population census for the past how many years and counting. And you can't really detect that what representation, what parliament, what parliamentarians, and what political party. These people do not have Cameroonians at heart. Okay. Just to give a small lesson to this, my brother here, you know, unfortunately, CPDM takes the most mediocre of Cameroonians to be their communicators. Because recently, the kind of people who represent CPDM on panels are those kind of people whose idea you wonder where they derive it from. And you wonder if they are really living the reality of what Cameroonians are living. Because this man here is very confused. He doesn't even know what is called international cooperation. He doesn't even know what is called democracy. He doesn't even know what is called diplomacy. So he comes here and places a message of ambiguity. And then he goes off topic to be mentioning issues that are not even part of the topic of discussion. So that's to tell you how confused and uncultured they are. In fact, they don't even know how to communicate to Cameroonians. Cameroonians know exactly who to vote when next local elections are coming and who to vote in this 2025 presidential election.
Yes, Fabrice, I think aside his political cap, Yakubu is an economist. So he knows the realities of maybe what you are citing.
No, they are the ones who knows everything.
Oh, okay, okay. Yes, let me get to Etienne. When you are fortunate because you discuss with most of the MPs one-on-one. Fabrice says it is very difficult to even see some of the MPs.
I was a little
You
bit,
follow their discussions
I was a little
in
bit
group. You follow their discussions in group. You discuss with some of them one-on-one. Do you have the impression that some of them are more loyal to President Paul Biya than to the people that send them to the National Assembly?
Well, you know, Paul Biya is the president of some of the MPs. And I can say I am in contact with all the MPs.
Sure.
I'm more close to probably the opposition MPs than some of the MPs from the ruling party.
Okay.
But I want to state it clear. We should not get confused. The problem we have in Cameroon is the issue of separation of power.
Okay.
Once that is done, like he said, what that is done, every entity will know what to do, when and how. That's the fundamental problem we have in Cameroon. Okay. Because I want to look. It's getting a little bit emotional, but I don't want us to get there.
We have to remain objective.
Yes, yes. Yeah. I want us to remain objective by saying that.
No, but it should be emotional.
Listen.
It's a booster. It should be emotional.
We don't have much time, Mr. Epie. We don't have much time.
I know that I'm feeling exactly like how you're feeling, you understand? It's not because I am probably closer or have the opportunity to be closer to some MPs that I will say that everything is white, of which is not. But I want us to be clear. MPs, the standing orders of the National Assembly is clear. MPs are elected to represent their constituencies in Yaoundé, but they have a relay. What he said, I know French, that name cabinet is it's derived from French word. They have an office in their constituencies that every information that needs to be sent to the MP or to be tabled at the National Assembly, what the people feel.
That was his major problem.
Yes.
Are those offices existing?
I want to say that I know. Probably I have not been to all the 180 constituencies to assert here that they have, but I've been to places that I've seen the MPs managing, having their.
Do you want me to tell about the MP on Sunday?
I want to tell you. Okay, for example, of course, it should not.
About the MP of Thomas subdivision.
Please, listen. Look, I know how you. I know that. I'm not saying that all of them they may not have because of the crisis.
Those that you visit have.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
In Northwest and Southwest.
Well,
why not?
Depend. If I've gone to, have I visited Northwest and Southwest?
Okay.
If I've visited, yes. Because one, I've gone to, for example, I've been to Limbe. I didn't want to say it. I've been to Limbe. Limbe is FACO East. I've been to Honorable Tombi Gladys' cabinet. Okay. For example, it's not based in Douala.
So apart from her.
No. Please. I just cited an example. You don't want me to go to
I think it's very clear that some have and some may not have.
But majority doesn't have.
Okay.
Few have.
Okay.
So let us be clear about it.
Yakubu, please.
Lena,
yes.
Lena, look, I understand. I understand you, Lena. You understand. I understand.
Try to learn, please.
But the problem, the fundamental problem we should be, if you are of the opposition, please, what we should concentrate on should be, there's a serious problem in Cameroon where executives dictate to all the other powers. So that is what we should focus on that. We should focus on that. Okay. That's the first thing, because once you have separation of power, every entity knows exactly what to do, how to do, and when to do it.
Okay.
And with that, it goes down to everybody.
Yakubu, please, when you look at our parliament and the different communities that they represent, is there something we need to strengthen in terms of relationship between those two?
Yes, surely in terms of communication and then in terms of groundwork. And now it depends on the various strategies put in place in each community. Okay. Because in other localities, MPs are well combined and communicating with the people who elected them, but in other places not. But when it comes
to MPs do not represent people who elected them. They represent the entire constituency. Whether you have opposition,
no, I'm talking about the constituencies. Okay. That in most of the cases, when you look at the communication between the constituencies and the MPs who are elected, there is a symbiosis, there is a combination. In terms of CPDM MPs, there is a connection. That is why most of the times you will see, like, what we are preparing the ground for the next election, and you come to understand that our MPs are doing a wonderful job on the ground.
I'm talking about MPs, be it NUDP, SDF.
No, I don't know what is happening with it. Globally, I don't know what is happening.
That this man doesn't know anything.
I don't know what is happening with the strategy put in place by other MPs.
Yakubu, this is my question. When you look at globally our MPs at the National Assembly, and when you look at the different communities, is there something that needs to be strengthened in terms of the relationship between the two?
Yes, in terms of, I'll talk of collaboration, in terms of information from the bottom, I mean, from the population to the elected, so that they should be more efficient in parliament, and then so that most of the problems should be impacting the population should be raised up. But when it comes to the CPDM parliamentarians, that is being done. But for opposition, we don't know
so
what.
One second. I just wanted to say something.
Fabrice, you will permit us.
1 second.
Just permit us. We have to go to Gabon, where they are holding their presidential elections today. Michael Chupkyo and Ngerang Toa, our special envoys, are there. And they will be feeding us with the updates of the polls there in Libreville, Gabon.
Bonjour et bienvenue ici à Libreville où l'atmosphère est sereine dans les rues après une transition politique de 19 mois. Les Gabonais sont appelés aux urnes ce samedi pour élire leur nouveau président. Une élection cruciale qui tourne la page d'un demi-siècle de pouvoir Bongo, interrompu, on se souvient, par un coup d'État militaire intervenu en août 2023 dans le pays. Et donc, selon la Commission électorale nationale autonome et permanente, la CENAP, plus de 920 000 personnes inscrites sur les listes électorales sont supposées prendre part à ces opérations électorales, dont environ 28 500 Gabonais de la diaspora, Gabonais de la diaspora. Et à travers les 9 provinces du pays, 2600 bureaux de vote ont ouvert leurs portes dès 7 heures ce matin. Le scrutin est surveillé par plus de 200 observateurs internationaux. Ils sont issus notamment de l'Union africaine et de la communauté économique des États de l'Afrique centrale. Ils sont ici à Libreville et dans d'autres provinces du pays depuis pratiquement une semaine pour certains, et d'autres sont encore arrivés hier soir dans le pays pour observer ces élections. Ce qu'on peut dire à l'instant, c'est que 8 candidats sont officiellement en lice, mais
tous les regards sont tournés vers le général Brice Clotaire Oligui Nguema, président de la transition, qui se présente avec un programme axé sur la réforme institutionnelle, la lutte également contre la corruption et la relance économique. Justement, son principal rival Alain Claude Bilibinzi, ancien Premier ministre, promet une rupture nette avec le système passé et met en avant les réformes fiscales ambitieuses. Cette élection est également la première à se tenir sous la nouvelle constitution promulguée, on se souvient, en novembre 2024, qui prévoit un mandat présidentiel unique de 7 ans non renouvelable. La CENAP annonce que les résultats provisoires seront publiés dans un délai de 72 heures. Et pour beaucoup de Gabonais, cette élection symbolise l'espoir d'un nouveau départ après les décennies d'instabilité, de méfiance envers les institutions. Voilà ce que nous pouvons dire à l'instant. Et vous pouvez observer justement, juste derrière nous, ici, toute l'affluence justement de ces Gabonais sortis très tôt ce matin pour venir accomplir leurs devoirs citoyens. C'est ainsi ici au centre de vote de l'école publique du centre où le président de la transition accomplira son devoir citoyen dans quelques instants maintenant. Il est attendu ici et c'est également le cas dans d'autres centres de vote que nous avons eu l'occasion de visiter ici même sur place à Libreville. L'affluence est donc record à 7 heures de la journée où nous vous donnons ces informations. Nous aurons l'occasion justement de visiter d'autres bureaux de vote au courant de la journée pour vous fournir d'autres informations autour de cette élection présidentielle gabonaise. Ici donc à Libreville, Michael Chipkio face à la caméra d'Anguerantoa.
Okay, you are welcome back. That is the situation of the ongoing presidential elections in Gabon. Mr. Pierre, we are almost moving out. What do you expect from Parliament as far as the upcoming presidential election is concerned? We still have a few months to go.
No, what we expected.
Yes. What we expect.
What we expected.
Okay. There is still a session in June.
We still have 2 sessions.
At what time in June will they reform to bring a single ballot paper for the presidential elections?
You deny to go in for
Mr. Pierre, let me come back again.
That is
we still have a few months to go.
Yes.
Is there anything you expect from the National Assembly?
What Cameroonians expect?
Yes.
2 things.
Yes.
1, we need a reform of the electoral code for a single ballot paper.
1, yeah.
For all the presidential candidates. And 2, that all the procès verbals should, as signed by all those who are represented in the polling stations, should be authentic at the level of the Constitutional Council.
Evis?
Yeah, I think what we should expect is we've heard the message of peace. Also, they should be able to grill some of those ministers that are directly in charge of peace and security in the country, to caution them, because when you tell Cameroonians that there should be peace before, during and after the presidential election, you should put in place measures so that the peace should reign, which means that Parliament should make it possible for opposition for the loss of civil liberties in 1990 to be respected. Okay. The ruling party should be able to organize their conferences or their meetings freely.
The opposition
should be able to organize their meetings freely, so that there should be kind of a fair playing ground for all the candidates before the presidential election.
Fabrice?
Yes, I think CBDM parliamentarians who are majority in the parliament need to understand that CBDM will go and Cameroon will remain. You know, we have only Cameroon, and when they are doing whatever action or activities in the parliament, they should bear in mind that after October 2025, they may not have the opportunity again, you know, to carry out whatever intentions they had as good intentions for the country. So this is the opportunity they have. They have already wasted the March session. The June session is another opportunity for them. We hope that you don't waste it. You take that bold step as a country that
Fabrice.
Needs to redefine its history at a very crucial moment, which is 2025.
Etienne, your last word?
My last word, our constituency should be increased because the population has increased as well.
Okay. Yakubu?
Yes, I believe, I want that all parliamentarians should bring back the message of peace in their various localities, in their various constituencies, so that being it the presidential elections and the other elections should go on smoothly in favorable conditions.
Okay, of course, and we are sure to have the elections in favorable conditions, depending on if all stakeholders will play their respective roles as the calls have been put forward. And it is here that we are drawing the curtains of the program. If you missed out on anything, the rebroadcast will be on Wednesday at exactly 10:30 p.m. Until we meet again next Saturday, stay blessed. Bye-bye.